Hey everyone, you'll probably tune in this later, but I'm Sareth Ney, and I am hosting this one solo. We had a guest scheduled this week, but we were unable to. We had technical difficulties, so I thought I would improvise this show for this week. Um, I have plans for this evening, and I would go live at 9:30 as usual, but we can't this evening because I have to be out of town for a special engagement. So we're going live tonight, and I'll be sharing a special Cambodian story that I had. Um, let's see. In 2006, I went to Cambodia for the first time by myself, and I remembered how long the trek was and all that stuff, and it was the third time I have ever visited, but this time it was alone, and I went to my mom's village, which is I believe the cow, I believe is the name of it, and you had to take a boat to get there, and um, and so what happened was I get there and my grandma's the only one that's left. She's like the only reason why I visit Cambodia. Well, my grandparents are the reason why. But she was the lone survivor of all my grandparents, and she said, if your grandpa was still here, he would have loved to take you on a cart ride through the village and show you some of the town folks and the villages and the markets and stuff. But as you know, he's no longer with us, and I wasn't able to make it to his funeral. So, but it was no big deal. So, um, it saddened me because I only got to meet my grandpa twice, in like '93 and 2001 or 2002 or something like that. My maternal grandfather. Um, so that night, I went to bed, and this is where it gets scary. Um, I There was like the only way to get the electricity to turn on is if you have a generator, and so other than that, it's completely dark. So at my grandma's house, it was completely dark. There's a lot of people sleeping on the floor mats on the ground, and they reserved the room for me, which I made me feel special. They didn't have to do that, but I made my way to the restroom because I needed to use the restroom, and I used the restroom, and it was completely dark because there was no electricity. But there was what I remember that night was that there was like these lights shining, like there's a solid light shining above these like slots right above the wall, and I'm like, where did the light come from? Um, there shouldn't be electricity here. Um, so I totally missed the toilet. But the toilet's on the ground, so it was no big deal. I took there was a bucket of water and a pot, and then just washed whatever mistake I had. Um, but anywho, I walked back to my room, and usually when you leave your where you sleep, it's cold. But when I got back to where I was sleeping, it was still warm. My body heat didn't leave or something like that. So I went to bed, not thinking anything of it. And the dream I had was I was riding in the cart and didn't know who was beside me, but I guess it was my grandpa and me riding in the cart in that dream, and he promised me that cart ride that he wished he took me on that trip if he was still around that day. So I'm glad he kept his word, even if it was in a dream form. But man, that sure was pretty spooky, wasn't it? Anywho, that's my installment for Angkor Baby this week. I will continue to have a guest this week. My guests that were supposed to be here had internet connections problems, so we'll definitely try and schedule them for next month. I'm hoping for September 11th. We'll never forget that date for sure, but they will be my guest on that day, and at the usual 9:30 p.m. start time. we'll go back to the 9:30 p.m. Ways. So that's my Cambodian story for the week. Hopefully that is all I can give to you at the moment. Tim Leah, and I will see you next week for Angkor Baby. We'll see you soon. Take care.